Hey there, and good afternoon. I'd like you to meet Cheryl. This story that here we have about a dog, and it has a happy ending. So, when a lost dog needed help, Cheryl stepped up along with Tigger Town, based in Chattanooga, and took the initiative to make sure this pup didn't just get found, but truly found a home. Her compassion, persistence, and belief that every dog deserves safety and love turned a moment of uncertainty into a beautiful new beginning. Welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome, and I'm glad to have you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about this story. From my understanding, I've been following the story for some time on the Chattooga County website about lost dogs in the county. And when I saw that this dog was in there, I was very concerned. And then when you got involved, I was really paying attention to it since I've known you for some time. So tell me a little bit about how this all started and what's going on with this dog. And
Sure.
what is the name of our dog?
Right. So, our new name for our dog, because, like you alluded to earlier, it does have a happy ending. So, our new name is Luna. But for a long time, she was the Menlo puppy.
Okay.
So, I originally saw her. I drive through that intersection where she was to go from. I have a Airbnb in another location, and I drive through that intersection frequently to go check on my Airbnb. And I had seen her. I saw her before Christmas, but in really checking out the story because she's been posted on Chattooga Lost and Found Pet page, and then she was posted on a local Menlo town page that she's actually been there since before Thanksgiving.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is a long time for a puppy to be on her own, and she was at a very busy four-way intersection. This four-way intersection is the main road to get up to the top of Lookout Mountain and over into Alabama, into the Mentone area. Um, and there's a lot of 18 wheelers, logging trucks, delivery trucks, people back and forth. There's a lot of business that goes on across state lines right there. And so that area is really very busy. And our little Menlo puppy was sitting at the stop sign, just waiting for her people. She was she was obviously locked in lost dog syndrome, which means that she is being loyal. Um, she was either dumped, or it is possible that she was lost off of somebody's truck and they don't know where she's lost. That is a possibility, and we're investigating that. But for the moment, we just think she was dumped. And she's just been sitting at that stop sign waiting for her person. And it really was a community effort. Everybody in the community, because there's houses there, there's a couple of businesses, a restaurant, a gas station, things like that. And people were feeding her, but the road is so busy. She was sitting in the road, sitting at the stop sign, no place to really sleep. There were other dogs that were tracking her. Um, So while the neighborhood and community was feeding her, she had really no place to go and be protected, and she was really scared of everyone.
Wow.
Um, I didn't get involved until another person that I know named Paula was getting involved. And when I saw her post, she was going down to sit with the dog because I don't know if you know, but dogs aren't easily trapped when they're in the flight or fight mode. They're afraid of everybody, so they need patience and consistency. So I decided to go sit, and I sat down there in the field with her for 2.5, 3 hours
Wow. That's a long time.
initially.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's watching dog behavior, right? So, dog, once she yawned, which means she's letting off stress, and then laid down on her side to go to sleep, I knew that she had sort of accepted me being there and she was going to sleep for a little while. So that was my initial connection with her. Then I posted about that personally on the Chattooga Lost and Found page, and that's where things got really interesting. Um,
What happened?
so someone, Lauren from Tigger Town, reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you call me? I have an idea." And I was like, "Yes, I can."
Right.
I called her immediately and she said, "Hey, I trap dogs. Tell me the situation. How can I help?" So that was Saturday night. I had spent all day Saturday with the dog. So Saturday night, we made a plan and she showed up with two traps, all of the fixings. And the traps are fairly sophisticated. It's not, like you see in the movies, right? It's a sophisticated trap. So one was your regular wildlife trap size for a dog, right? So something you might catch a squirrel or a raccoon in, but sized for a dog. And then the other one was quite sophisticated. So, um, you know, 8 or 10 feet long, 6 plus feet tall, and it had a remote trigger on it, and also a laser beam as well. So she came down on Sunday, helped us set all this up, and this is where it really got successful, right? Because this dog would have run consistently from people for months until she could trust someone enough to actually reach out and touch her. So the traps were very important to this process. She came, set up all of our traps, gave us an education on how to use them and how dogs think and what's going through their mind and how to get her into the trap. She spent she arrived at 11 and didn't leave until 8 o'clock that night.
Wow.
During that time I was there, I had brought a dog trainer as well, um, because sometimes if there's another dog, they can be attracted to them. But in this particular case, our little Menlo puppy was actually scared of dogs. So we used the dog trainer and her dog to keep her out of the road. Right?
I
We weren't
see.
scaring her. We were just walking the dog up and down the road so that she would come into the field rather than into the road. Um, so during the course of conversation, we decided that because it was cold, we didn't want to use the laser beam to trip the trap because Lauren was 45 minutes away. I'm 30 minutes away. And there was no commitment from anybody else closer to go check the trap on a consistent basis to see if the dog had been trapped.
Hmm.
And because it was cold, we didn't want her stuck in an open area with the trap with no place to get herself warm for
Right.
several hours. So
Right.
we made the decision to just leave it open and use it as a feeding station.
I see.
So that happened Sunday night. I had to get my days straight because it was a lot of work.
Right.
I arrived Monday morning around 6:30 and manned the trap. And she's interested in the trap, but she won't go in. Right. But then she starts realizing that I'm the same person that has been there Saturday, Sunday, and now I'm there again on Monday. So she's interested in my car. And she did, she'd walk into the trap, look around, she'd come sit by my car. At at various times, she was in the middle of the road, running, down the road because there's people all over the community feeding her.
Hmm.
So I stayed for 4 hours,
Gosh.
and then she didn't go all the way into the trap, so I just left and took the remote with me,
Hmm.
um, and came back the next morning. And we have cameras in the trap, so we can see what she's doing at night. So she's
Oh, I
interested in
wonder.
yeah, she's definitely interested in the food that we've trapped it with. And I got these ideas from other dog rescuers. Liquid smoke is one of the highest attractants for dogs because I guess they think it's a little bit like the um, dog being attracted to someone cooking out, right? How good that smells. And then Vienna sausages and rotisserie chicken. Of course, we debone the chicken, but all of those things smell. They have high drive smells, so that's what we used to bait the trap. So she was very interested in the food, but she wouldn't go all the way in. So come Tuesday morning. I get up again. I'm out there at 6:30 in the morning, but I decide to go get biscuits from Menlo's Lucky's Market, which is a little local grocery store, but they have amazing biscuits. And so I got one for myself and two for the dog. I mean, I got to feed myself while I'm sitting out there in the 20-degree weather, right?
Right, right. Sure.
So dog's nowhere to be seen first thing when I get there. So I go out and I put more liquid smoke, a couple of Vienna sausages in the trap and around the trap just to get her smell working or her nose working for the smells and biscuit inside. And then as soon as I get back to my car, and I'm only 30 feet maybe from the trap, so I'm not very far. And I could see her sniffing around, very excited. And then she came over to my car. And I felt comfortable enough to roll down my window. And I'm talking to her a little bit. And she's interested. So I open the door. She doesn't run away. So we're establishing a little bit of a relationship there. And I decide, well, maybe she doesn't know what a biscuit tastes like. So I threw her a little piece of my biscuit and it was on. She We had successfully posted and asked the community not to feed her anymore. So she was a little hungry when she saw me.
Okay. So
And
the community, they participated by not feeding her and trying to get this dog.
yeah,
Okay, good.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's important that the dogs are a little bit hungry or they won't actually go into the trap, right? It's the risk and reward for a dog, right? Dogs all think logically, not emotionally like humans do. So if they know they can get fed somewhere else, why go into that big scary thing that looks weird, right? So, so you know, once I threw out a little piece of the biscuit, it was on. She started barking at me, wagging her tail. She wanted more of my biscuit. So I'm sitting in my car with the door open, just eating my biscuit, you know, teasing her basically. And she got a little bit of the zips and, started to play around a little bit. And I said, okay, well, now's my time. So I took the other biscuit that I had bought her and I went down to the trap and I threw a few pieces in. And then I went back to my car. And she would put in 2 feet into the trap and stretch really far to get her biscuit. I'm like, oh, not quite. And so I sort of played with her a little bit. She doesn't, she's not wanting to be touched, but she's okay romping around a little bit with me. And I took more biscuit down there and I'm carefully watching. And then all of a sudden she has all 4 feet and all of her body in and remote control trap she's in.
Right. Success. It worked.
Yep, it did work. And so now we have a puppy that's been sitting there since before Thanksgiving, 2025. And now she's trapped, well, so it was 6 weeks plus later.
Uh-huh.
And luckily for us, a local Menlo couple had decided already to take her. They just couldn't man the trap or didn't know how to man the trap. And to be honest, they had tried getting her before, but I really attribute the success of trapping the dog to Tigger Town.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hear about that because it sounds like they came down and spent all day helping get it set up and teaching you how to use it
Right.
and how to, and so you had it for what, 3, 4, 5, 4 days or something like that?
Just 3 days, which
Okay.
that and to be honest, I've watched other trapping episodes basically in the area, and trapping a dog in 3 days is not always possible.
No, I bet. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tigger Town was committed to however long it took. Lauren was in constant contact with us by text. She was the one that was managing the night camera. Um, so she was in constant contact with us and saying, well, here's what I see. Here's what we should try. Here's what I think is going to happen next. Um, there's plenty of other challenges with trapping a dog, right? This one went, to be honest, very easily for the situation. but it was, a combined effort. If we didn't have the trap from Tigger Town, if they hadn't volunteered their time and supplies to come down and bring it and leave it at risk of being stolen, right? Because all of those things are out at this very busy four-way stop. And while the immediate community knew what we were doing, if you recall, I said this is a business route between, across state lines here, Georgia to Alabama. So there's plenty of strangers out there that have no idea what's going on. Right. So at a risk of their equipment being stolen,
Sure.
they
Right.
left us two traps, a battery, a remote. Um, I think that's all that. Yeah. Oh, and underneath the trap, they had this very expensive horse stall mat. Things like $100. And so, but that keeps the dog from digging out if they get trapped and you
Yeah.
can't get
Yeah.
there quick enough. Right.
Right. Right.
So again,
Well,
Tigger Town.
how does Tigger Town uh, get funded? I mean, what are they a a chair? How does that work? How do they get
Yep.
funded?
Yep. So they are a 501(c) charity.
Okay.
They only get funded by grants or charitable donations, right?
Okay.
And I when I talked to Lauren this year alone, she's already trapped 11 dogs.
That's wonderful. Just this year. Wow.
Just this
This is
year.
this is January 16th.
Exactly. Exactly.
Gosh.
So, there's a lot of dogs out there that need help, and you know, it can be successful without traps, but dogs who are dumped or are feral, born in the wild, they don't, the community doesn't think necessarily that dogs that are out there are necessarily in distress,
Right.
right? But we have domesticated dogs. They are not coyotes, they're not fox, they're not wolves. They're domesticated animals, and their genetics have been domesticated. So even though they don't appear to be in stress or distress, they are actually in this country.
Okay.
Um,
Well, if
so,
somebody wanted to help out Tigger Town or give them
mhm,
a contribution for what happened up there
right.
in Menlo to help Luna and get her
Hmm.
place. Now, I think before we got on the show here on our podcast, my podcast studio, that you mentioned that they were checking to see if there was a chip and they were going to try to see if there was any possibility it could belong to somebody somewhere else, maybe out
Yeah,
of state even.
our theories were two. One, she was just dumped, which unfortunately in this county has happened quite a lot. I know you know this.
Yeah.
You were involved in helping 8 puppies find homes in
Uh,
November of 2023.
right.
Oh,
24.
2024. Yep, 24. I got my dates mixed up. And then I found another one in February of 2025, and that's just local to our little community. Imagine how bad it is across,
Right.
the entire county. So, we have a lot of this happening. So that's our theory. Is number one theory is she was dumped. The second theory is that she could have been on a farm truck and jumped out, and the owner doesn't know where she is. So the plan is to make sure she gets to vetting and get the chip done, but she's been on her own for so long and in fight or flight for so long. The new owners have chosen to let her decompress and come out of fight or flight a little bit before they take her to a vet, because that can be scary for any dog. So
Sure.
there are plans to get her checked for a chip. And if she does come back, then certainly um, you know, the original owner will be contacted to see if they still want her or if, they need to stay with the new owners. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to hear because
Hmm.
that's good because we don't know
Hmm.
what the story is for Luna, but it
That's right.
sounds like if this story will have a happy ending one way or
Hmm.
the other, if the
Right.
owners, in fact, have lost her and can't find her
Hmm.
and they want her back, or
Right.
this couple wants to give her a good home, and it sounds like they do, and they're willing to do that. So it's a wonderful story. So can you give us some ways that we can contact Tiggertown to make a donation or
Sure.
something like that?
Absolutely. So Tigger Town is based in far northwest Georgia. They're just on the line between Georgia and Tennessee.
Hmm.
Um, Technically, their address is Rossville, but it's if you look on the map, it looks like it's Chattanooga. But they do a lot of work up in the northwest corner of Georgia for us, and their website is Tigger town.com. And there is a donation link there. I specifically asked for a donation. They have a donation section that's specifically for rescue and trapping.
Okay.
Um, but then they also have other programs as well.
Okay. So the best option is to go to the website
Hmm.
Tigger, TIGGERTOWN.com and
That's
make a
right.
donation through the website, right?
That's right. They also have a Facebook group, which is, or a Facebook page, which is Tigger Town Inc. INC.
Okay, great. That's good. A lot of people are into that too, so
Well, that's
they
how
could.
they found me and found
Okay.
Luna. So,
Well, that's what we're doing here is we want to do a shout out to Tigger Town and Laura. You said her name was right. Lauren. Okay, and we do have a shout out for her specifically
mhm.
for taking the time and make reaching out to you and helping to get this Luna placed and at least for now off the street, even though that street is a four-way stop. It's it's like a blinking light, and most people
Yeah.
are safe around there. Nobody really runs the lights or anything, but you never know. And so it was a risky business there for the Menlo puppy for a long time, but now she's in a safe space. So we all are glad to hear that. So
Yeah,
good, good.
absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
uh,
It's been a little bit of a challenge, but we got her.
all
So,
right. Well, kudos to you and to Tiggertown and to Lauren and to all the others in the community that helped along the way before this happened. A lot of people did help, I understand, to feed her and give her, at least keep her from starving and things like this. But
right.
now that she's placed, there's a lot more great future for her ahead. So
Hmm.
so thank
Absolutely.
so thank you for joining me today, and
And thank you.
we'll get this out, and we'll do this so that we can let other people know about Tigger Town and the efforts that were made, and that people that haven't seen or heard the story don't know all the story, and that's why we wanted to do this audio podcast so that people could hear from your mouth to their ears exactly how it all went down, and everybody was really committed to make this a good happy ending story for the Menlo puppy now named Luna, right?
Yep. Yep. We're very
All right,
excited. We're very
all right.
excited. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you helping me tell Luna and Tigger Town story. I appreciate that.
Well, you're very welcome. So we'll catch you again. Maybe, who knows, you may have more stories in the future. Sounds like from what I hear that these dogs just sort of pop up and there you are somehow or another. So you got a good heart, Cheryl. You got a good heart.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.